Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Whiteside, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. However you may be joining us, you know we here at HTV want to bring you all of the candidates running for different offices as we can let you hear from them what they would like to do. We're going to start today with Danny Babin of District 7. Danny, welcome and thanks for joining us.
Keith, thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be here. If you don't mind, I'd like to start off, every 10 years by the Constitution of the United States, we have to take a census. And by that, once they get the population, then the Department of Justice determines your congressional districts, your state districts, your parish districts. So the Department of Justice says they want to make everybody equal or as equal as possible, one man, one vote. So we change districts around every 10 years. The District 7 that I've represented for 8 years, then I was out 4 years, and then this last 4 years again, has now changed. We've lost some area and picked up some area.
Okay.
The area that I've picked up is the area of 311 Lafayette and, if you will, Barrow Street, Morningside, Sunset Boulevard, Crescent Boulevard, Magnolia, from Lafayette Street going all the way to the Intercoastal. In other words, the power plant, that particular area, back up in there. Also, what District 7 has picked up is in Summerfield, on Southdown Mandalay Road, starting at Wellington, which is on the right-hand side. If you go down Wellington, everything on the left-hand side, which is the odd number houses, are in District 7. Everything on the right side is in another district, District 6. So from Wellington on the left side going all the way down by Black to Mandalay is in District 7 now. And some of those streets are Wellington, Lancaster, Laurel, Rebecca, Thatcher Place, Caleb, Shea, and some other streets in there. But that particular area is now in District 7. And it goes all the way. It used to stop at Sylvain Road. Now it goes all the way to Bailey Court, which is about a quarter of a mile past the Greenwood Bridge. So it's a good ways down. On the Highway 182 side, we start at Country Club, which is the Intercoastal Canal, and go all the way to Bob's Marina in Gibson. Which is a long way.
Yes, it is.
And what District 7 lost in by DeLarge, it doesn't start now basically until Tina Street going down. So Crozier will be in a different district now.
Closer to the city.
Closer to the city, correct. And on the Grand Kaya side, Ashland North and all that area that used to be in District 7 is now not in District 7. It does not start until the Ashland Road, which is at the jail. The jail. Going down. So District 7 is geographically is by far the largest district. It goes all the way from Fort Point and Bayou Sally Road going to Cocodrie all the way to Gibson, and all of the subdivisions in between. So it's a large area.
And all the camps and all the camp boats and all the water in between.
Correct.
So again, anybody living
if somebody is a resident, if they're living in some of the subdivisions down there, Southern Comfort or whatever, if they are a resident, and they registered to vote here, yes, that is part of the district, correct.
Yeah. Well, Danny, I appreciate that. Tell us why, and I know you've done this for 4 years, took 4 off, and in another 4 years. Tell us why you're running again here for District 7.
Keith, I enjoy doing things for the community. I've been involved in Terrebonne Parish in one form of another, from volunteerism to appointed boards to elective positions for the last 50 years.
Well, Danny, you're not that old. You just had a birthday. You're not that old.
It kind of gives away my age, okay? Actually, it started off by helping Mr. Jimmy Buquet raise money to build the YMCA. And
I remember.
It just kind of caught on from there and got involved in schools, president of the school board at Vanderbilt, fortunate enough to be appointed by 2 governors to the State Wildlife and Fisheries Commission, which was a big honor. A third governor to a federal commission and a shrimp task force, planning commission here in Terrebonne Parish for 8 years, and then I ran for council and won, had an unsuccessful bid for parish president, which is fine, and then decided to run again for my seat and was fortunate enough to win. And I just like giving back to the community. It's the little things when you can help people with the basic need, that's what you want to do, okay? And the easiest thing as a council person is I always give out my cell phone number, and I have no problem doing that. It's 985-637-1178. If you answer your telephone or get back to people when they call, you can solve 85% of the problems over the telephone. Keith, you know you're in that business, okay? Right. And people want to hear from their council people. Sometimes they expect a little bit more from a council person than we can really provide, because we are the legislative branch of the government, and the majority that goes on is what the administration puts forward. Right. But again, my love of Terrebonne Parish and the people it made me determined to run again.
To do that again. In our last minute here, tell us what it is that you feel like maybe needs to be done, something that needs to be done differently, or something you're passionate about representing the people of District 7.
Well, you know, the last administration, and rightfully so, took on the challenge of levees and pump stations and floodgates. And those things are all very worthy projects, and we needed them, okay? Unfortunately, we've had COVID and we've had a hurricane. And not using that as an excuse, but what we need now with a new administration coming in, hopefully, is to focus on roads. And not all of them are parish roads, but roads, cleaning of ditches, okay, cutting of grass, and you know those types of things, the basic functions that we need as a parish.
Yeah. Well, Danny, I appreciate it. We thank you for your service thus far. Good luck in the election, and thank you for joining us today to talk a little bit about it.
Thank you, Keith. It's always a pleasure.
All right. And that'll do it for this particular segment of Bayou Time. Don't go anywhere. A whole lot more when we continue right here on HTV.